This is my David Lynch collection. First is my favorite David Lynch anything is the show Twin Peaks. My favorite show of all time. I watched it in 1990 as it aired at age 11. And there's 2 seasons, 1990 and 1991. And this is my favorite David Lynch, most of stuff's movies, but this is my favorite anything David Lynch did. And this collection right here has the first and second season, the pilot, and Fire Walk With Me, the prequel movie, and the missing pieces, which is the missing pieces to Fire Walk With Me, which are 90 minutes, an hour and a half of deleted scenes. So the movie itself is 2 hours and 15 minutes, and there's an hour and a half of deleted scenes just for the missing pieces, which makes that important. Which is the best thing about this collection right here. So that's my favorite TV show of all time, and my favorite anything that David Lynch did. My favorite David Lynch movie is Mulholland Drive. Naomi Watts, who is in season 3 of Twin Peaks, which is on now. So if you watch this video after Twin Peaks season 3 is on DVD Blu-ray, then that's why I don't have it in this collection. I'll have to do an updated version, but but season 3 is on right now, airing on right now. It's episode 9 just aired, so we still have 9 more episodes, and then however long it takes for it to come out on DVD Blu-ray. So a second David Lynch movie, Inland Empire. Laura Dern, who's in season 3 of Twin Peaks as Diane. She's also in Wild at Heart and Blue Velvet. Next is The Elephant Man, which is the most emotional David Lynch movie. Next, Blue Velvet, which is another Kyle MacLachlan, who I love Kyle MacLachlan because I loved him as Agent Cooper. So, but he did 2 movies before Twin Peaks, which was Blue Velvet and Dune, and I love him in this movie. And I love Kyle MacLachlan, and he has worked with David Lynch 5 times now. Blue Velvet, Dune, Twin Peaks, and if you count Fire Walk With Me, which is the movie version of Twin Peaks, and then season 3 of Twin Peaks, if you count that, he's actually worked with him 5 times. Next will be Lost Highway, which is his first puzzle type movie. David Lynch's movies have always been weird and strange, but they were more straightforward. Like even Blue Velvet and Twin Peaks are more straightforward until he did Lost Highway, which is like a puzzle, and it's different pieces. You got to put the puzzle together. His last 3 movies, which were Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, and Empire, are all puzzle type movies that you got to figure out. And even after watching them 2 or 3 times, you still can't figure it out. Like Inland Empire, I still have trouble figuring out completely. I mean, they're all great movies, but they're just they're just hard to figure out. But like I said, he did more straightforward. His first movie, Eraserhead, which was a pretty good movie for a first, directorial debut, and this is Jack Nance, who I love. Jack Nance, and he he was in every David Lynch movie up until his death in '97. Lost Highway was his last movie that he made in 1997. He died after that, and he was in every David Lynch movie up until that time, except for Elephant Man was the only one he wasn't in. And Fire Walk With Me, his scenes were cut. He was in the movie, but his scenes were deleted. I mean, it was in the missing pieces, so his scenes were cut out of the final movie. So he was in, David Lynch has made 10 movies, and Jack Nance was in 5 of those 10 movies. Everything up until his death, except for The Elephant Man, which David Lynch wanted Jack Nance to play the Elephant Man, title character in that, but the studio said no. So I think if he hadn't died, he died mysteriously, and it was never solved. But I think if he hadn't died, he would have been in every David Lynch movie except for The Elephant Man. And I like him the best as, I mean, he's good in this, but I like him the best in Twin Peaks as Pete Martell. And he looks different, you know, he's like 12 years later, I think. This was, I think, 77, this is 1990. And Twin Peaks, his hair is white and short, and he has a mustache, but the Eraserhead, he has the signature, you know, big hair. Next would be The Straight Story, which is David Lynch's only normal, if you want to call it that, movie, which is, it's not weird, it's not strange, it doesn't have to do with, you know, death or whatever. It's just a normal movie that goes, it's basically a straight story. It just goes, you know, it's not a sequence or anything. And I think David Lynch did this because everybody said, oh, he can only do these kind of movies. So he did this and showed them that he can make a regular movie and make it good. Next would be Fire Walk with Me, which is Twin Peaks. It's a prequel movie to Twin Peaks, which I always put as one of, you know, the last three movies. Like, all these movies I love. Okay, I love Twin Peaks, and then Mulholland Drive, and then Empire, but I love all these movies. So I always put Twin Peaks with the movies, the last three that I didn't really like, which I'm not saying I don't like them because for one thing, this is Twin Peaks, you know what I mean? But compared to these movies, it's not that good. And compared to the show, at least the first season, you got the first season, and then the second season where the killer gets caught, I think 9 episodes in, and then the show goes downhill. But the first season and half the second season is just, I mean, it's my favorite show of all time. So this movie doesn't quite compare to the first season and the first half for the second season. So, but I'm not saying it's a bad movie, and I'm not saying I don't like it, because I do like this movie, and it is important to the story. I mean, you have Laura Palmer alive, walking around, she's alive. And there's other stuff that's important. So it is, you know, and I've watched it since. As a kid, I just really didn't like it at all. I mean, I like the fact that Laura's alive, but besides that, but I've been watching it, you know, rewatching it a couple times, and like, okay, it's not as bad, but it's just not on the same level as the show. But, so that's why it's towards the end here. Next would be Wild at Heart, and this, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but it's okay, but this is Laura Dern and Nicolas Cage, who's one of my favorite actors, and this movie's just not, you know, I mean, it's good, but it's, compared to the other ones, it's just not that good. Willem Dafoe is probably my favorite character in this movie. He's crazy, funny. And then Dune, which, I don't know, I mean, Dune's still okay, and you got Twin Peaks characters, and this is before Twin Peaks, but Kyle MacLachlan again, he's the main star. You have Jack Nance. Obviously, Jack Nance is in Wild at Heart also, and Lost Highway, and Blue Velvet, but not Mulholland Drive, not in Empire, not Straight Story, and not Elephant Man. He could have been Elephant Man, he wasn't, but he had died before Mulholland Drive and then Empire. But Dune, I mean, Dune's okay and everything, but so Jack Nance is in it, Kyle MacLachlan, and Albert Rosenfeld, has his character's name. I forget what his real name is. Whatever his real name is, I forget. But those three are in this, all from Twin Peaks, all before Twin Peaks. And not that this is a bad movie. And Dune's been done, you know, after, you know, it's been redone, because it's from a book. So I don't know if it was made before this into a movie. I don't know if this was the first movie, but it's been made after, and I think maybe a TV show. And it's okay, but it's just really not that good. It's my least favorite David Lynch movie. These are my least favorites, even though they're still good and I still like them. But David Lynch himself didn't like working with the big studios. It was a big studio movie, and he just didn't like working with big studios, so he had problems with them. So this is my David Lynch collection for now, and obviously there's going to be a Twin Peaks Season 3 I will buy on Blu-ray, and that'll go in this collection. And David Lynch has said that he is done directing movies. Twin Peaks Season 3 is going to be his last time doing anything. So I hope that, hopefully it's not true, actually, because and we love him as a director. You know, I mean, David Lynch has made some of the Mulholland Drive and Empire of Twin Peaks. So hopefully he's not done as director. But if he is, then I have his whole collection of films and TV, except for Twin Peaks Season 3, which I will have, and I just have to update his collection. I also have one of his The Big Dream, his CD, his music album, The Big Dream, which I listen to sometimes, and I mean I won't say it's good, but there's a couple of songs I like on there. But yeah, so this is my David Lynch collection.